Did you know that if you went backstage at any TED Talk event, you would see the speakers warming up their voices in order to prepare to deliver a transformational talk? Stay tuned today on Moxie Talk while I share how to have a confident, powerful voice that captivates any audience, maybe even a TED audience. And if you watch until the end, I will reveal the secrets to a pre-presentation vocal warm-up that will take your talks from good to great. Hi everyone, I'm Fia Fassbinder and welcome to Moxie Talk, where we help you find your voice, share your message, and lead with confidence. In today's video, I'm going to unpack an easy vocal warm-up that you can do before any speaking opportunity to make sure you present like a pro. But before I do that, if you are watching me on YouTube, please make sure to hit that alert button so you get notified of any new videos I put out. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please make sure to do that. Last but not least, if you find value in these videos, please make sure to like them and share them with a friend or colleague. Okay, here we go. Think about the last time you had to give a big presentation. What happened to your breath? The same thing that always happens to our breath when we get nervous. It gets shallow and fast, and we don't feel like we can get enough breath out, and suddenly we are winded and it's exhausting. Why? Why does this happen? This is our body tightening our diaphragm in order to protect our vital organs. It's a natural survival instinct. But that shallow breathing causes a downward spiral of nerves. Everything gets more shallow. Our breath quickens, our heart rate quickens, our thoughts race, our speed races, our voices quiver because we can't get enough breath out. It's exhausting just thinking about it. But the good news is that it doesn't have to be this way. We can take control of our breath. And when we do that, a magical thing happens. We get calmer, our heart rate drops, and our voices get more resonant. And we can say whatever we need to say without feeling like we're running out of air. This is why at Moxie, we call the voice you have when you use breath support the voice of leadership. Because when you do it, you project so much vocal power. And this is why actors start out with breath or voice work before any show, so they can project their voices across crowded theaters for 8 shows a week. Now, I like to use the sushi analogy for breath support. If you think about sushi, it's fish on rice. Now, imagine that rice is breath and that fish is your voice. You always support the fish on the rice, just like we always support our voice with breath. And have you ever had a piece of sushi where this fish flops over the rice? That's exactly what happens to our voices when we don't have enough breath. They flop over. That is why we call supporting our voices on breath, breath support. What we're really doing is strengthening our diaphragms. Now, music teachers, acting teachers, and athletic coaches have helped students expand their diaphragms for more breath control for decades. And in everyday life, just like our mouths, our diaphragms are kind of in a vegetative state. We actually need to train them to work for us. So what is your diaphragm? This is a sheath of muscle that sits between your abdomen and your lungs, and it's curved like a dome. And when we breathe, that dome flattens out so our lungs can expand. And why do we want to use our diaphragms? It gives us a full reservoir of air, so our voice has more power and volume. Our voice also gets more resonant, it gets deeper, and it doesn't quiver. And we don't run out of breath or feel breathless. So we all know when someone sounds confident or nervous. So let's find your diaphragm so that you can ensure you sound confident when you speak. Now, I bet at least 50% of you watching this video have never thought about your diaphragms until now. We really don't think about our diaphragms until we need them. And we really need them in order to get powerful voices that command a room. So let's find yours. What we're going to do is what I call the balloon exercise with diaphragmatic breathing. First, I want you to put your hands around your lower rib cage like this, and I want you to take several slow, deep breaths in and out like this. Now I want you to pay attention to the sensation of your rib cage pushing out against your hands when you breathe in. See? It pushes out and expands your rib cage, and then caving in as you exhale. Now inhale and exhale a few times, noticing the feeling of your rib cage going in and out like this. Now imagine there is a giant red balloon inside of you, and when you breathe in, you fill that balloon up with air, and it in turn pushes your hands and your rib cage out. And when you exhale, all of that air leaves the balloons and your hands, and they sink in like this. Now, your posture matters with diaphragmatic breathing. When you slump over, your rib cage blocks the biggest, most oxygen-rich part of your lungs, so you can't get enough air for power. And your rib cage blocks your diaphragm, so we want to make sure that we're standing tall and expanding this area. Okay, so now let's try a breath support exercise. You can leave your hands here if you want for some awareness. I'm going to say the words, hey you over there, hey, you over there, get off of my cloud. And I'm going to do each portion on breath, using breath support. And I want you to notice that the portions get longer, so I will need more breath support. Here we go. Hey. Hey, you. Hey, you over there. Hey, you over there, get off of my cloud. Now, you may have noticed that you needed more air as those phrases got longer. So take your time if you need to stop this video and just master saying those sentences, go for it. Now, if you're able to do the last one of those sentences on one breath, then we are going to try two of my favorite sentences using breath support. And these sentences are from Cyrano de Bergerac. And I love them because they exemplify the mindset and the energy I think we need to have when we're presenting. And those two sentences are, I feel too strong to war with mortals, bring me giants. I feel too strong to war with mortals, bring me giants. So that's it. If you can say these two sentences using breath support and you practice these vocal exercises every day, you are sure to have a confident speaking voice that's resonant and commands a room. Okay, so you've made it to the midpoint of my video, and this is the point where I invite you to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that yet. And if you've made it this far in my video, that probably means you're getting value out of it, which probably means you would get value out of my other videos too, which probably means you would benefit from subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and now back to our regularly scheduled programming. So now let's talk for a minute about quivering voices. Have you ever given a presentation and felt like your throat was closing up, or that there was a big lump in it? Or you've made an important request for your boss and you thought your voice sounded shaky? Now, there is an anatomical explanation for what's happening to our voices when we're under pressure. And this is actually a normal physiological reaction to a threatening situation, either imagined or real, and it can come through in our voice. Now, all humans have vocal cords, also called vocal folds, since they are actually folds of tissue, and they sit on top of our windpipe. And the real reason we have these folds of tissue, or these vocal folds, is they do the very important work of preventing us from inhaling water into our lungs whenever we drink something. But researchers have found in experiments that in any stressful situation, whether it was public speaking or hearing a loud startle sound or having cold water put on your body, that the muscles around your vocal cords and the muscles inside your vocal cords or your vocal folds activate, and in some cases they close altogether. And the ironic thing about this is those vocal folds are actually trying to help you, but the tensing and closing is absolutely not helpful for our voices or for our being taken seriously, our credibility. So no one wants to sound shaky or choked up when they speak. We want our voices to reflect strength, not weaknesses. And in study after study, a high-pitched voice has been correlated with perceptions of anxiety, or not being competent, or not being strong, or not being trustworthy. But what if we were actually all of those qualities? We just suffer from overreactive vocal folds. So research is starting to prove what voice clinicians have known for decades, which is that stress affects the voice. So to avoid this, we need to do an easy exercise, which is one of my favorites. You are going to hold your index finger a few inches in front of your mouth so you can feel your breath. And as you exhale steadily, you're going to make the sound you made as a kid when you were pretending to be a ghost. And you're going to do that for 5 to 10 seconds like this. Ooh. Ooh. So I'm only doing it twice. You need to do it 5 to 10 times for 5 to 10 seconds. And what you're actually doing when you do that is relaxing your vocal folds. So all of that great air that you've put into your body from your big inhale when you've used your breath support can actually come out without getting stopped by your vocal folds closing. So I like to actually imagine you have a tube right here. And when you breathe in, you inhale, you fill up that balloon, and on your exhale, all of that voice comes out on air. And it won't be stopped by those closing vocal folds if you do this exercise. Okay, so we've tackled quivering voices. In the final portion of this video, which I mentioned at the top, I'm going to give you a pre-presentation vocal warm-up. Now, when you put together the techniques we've discussed in this video, you get a powerful pre-game ritual or pre-presentation warm-up that I've used with thousands of speakers from the TEDx stage on to instantly level up their voice right before a talk. Now, actors have known the power of vocal warm-ups for centuries. If you go backstage before a performance, you will see a bunch of people rolling all over the place, stretching out their mouths, strengthening their voices, because that's really the only way to warm up their actor's instrument, which is their body and their voice. Now, the same is true with elite athletes. You think any coach at the Super Bowl would let his quarterback go into the game without warming up his throwing arm? No, I don't think that either. So that is why we are such big believers in warm-ups at Moxie. And we do them with all of our clients because it's so practical and it's so helpful. So I thought we'd end this video today by tying all of these techniques together and showing you Moxie's vocal warm-up. So here is the good news. You know all of the components of this warm-up if you have watched my videos. The first we're going to do is stretch out our mouths. And we're going to do the stretching exercises that I discussed in the previous video from the Yale School of Drama called Lion Mouse. So do it with me. Lion, mouse, lion, mouse, lion, mouse. Now, before I go any farther, I know how silly these exercises can feel, but they are literally the only exercises that I know work and will help you project a confident voice. And like I mentioned before, they've been used for eons by Broadway actors, and if they're good enough for Broadway actors, I think they're good enough for us. Next, we're going to blow through our lips like horses, like this. And you can do this as many times as you need to really loosen up your mouth. And then we're going to do a tongue twister as the third step. And I'm going to use the tongue twister, my mouth makes many mobile movements, because I mentioned that one in an earlier video. So you're going to say, my mouth makes many mobile movements. But you can do any of your favorite tongue twisters, maybe red leather, yellow leather, or she sells seashells down by the seashore. And you want to make sure that you say them at least 3 times and you're really opening your mouth wide and hitting all those end sounds. And the last step is to throw your hands up in the air in a power pose and say the sentences we learned earlier in this video. I feel too strong to war with mortals, bring me giants. And I recommend you say that 3 times, getting louder each time. But you're not screaming, you're using all of that great breath support so that you are just literally projecting your voice. So that's it. You now hold the keys to unlock a powerful and confident voice every time you speak. And if you practice this vocal warm-up on the regular, you'll have the voice of a pro speaker in no time. I can guarantee it. And if you found value in this video or you want to deep dive into more videos on how to speak with confidence, check out our playlist on all things vocal executive presence. And if you like this video, please let the world know by hitting that thumbs up icon. Also, stay tuned for my next video on presenting like a pro. And last but not least, if you still haven't subscribed to our channel, we would really love it if you could do so you get all of those new videos delivered straight to your inbox. Until next time, please remember to live boldly, lead brilliantly, and speak with Moxie.